At first impression, this is my least favorite Dunu, but it has grown on me drastically. Now it's my second favorite Dunu, just below the Dunu Zen Pro. So hello and welcome to Aftersound Review, and this is my review for the unique Dunu Falcon Pro. It is actually the cheapest lineup from Dunu that is using their Eclipse dynamic driver, costs around $220. Okay, just like usual, I will break down this review from the build, fit, frequency response, sound, and comparison. Dunu Falcon Pro using stainless steel as their housing body, and they definitely feels robust with some unique Dunu words here. So this part it looks like matte with more Dunu logo, while the front one is mirror finished. And the other thing that is unique is about they have a lot of fans, and that's quite big fans here and there. Then they're not just for show. It definitely feels when you take a listen to them, they feel quite open. I will explain to you later. And also they are tuned, you can customize their tuning using the nozzle. The nozzle is actually detachable like this, just unscrew it counterclockwise, and then you get also different types of nozzle here. Mainly their tuning is using different length of nozzle. You can see there's a transparency, reference, and also the atmospheric immersion, while the default that you get in this IM is the reference one. So it's fairly easy to install or uninstall them, just like that. Screw them clockwise. And the other thing that I noticed that's quite unique from this Dunu Falcon Pro, they are using MMCX connector, which is different because I have reviewed the Dunu Kima, Dunu Titan S, Dunu Talos, even the Zen Pro. Almost all are using 2-pin connectors, but the Dunu Falcon Pro and the Dunu Zen Pro, I don't really understand why they're using different connectors, but yeah, that's just how is it. And the cable itself is twisted but a little bit stiff and not really flexible. The ergonomics are quite good. At least for my small ears, the shape of the housing is just fit nicely in my ears. But I need to tell you this before, that this IM doesn't really isolate. It's really different from the other Dunu and other IMs, because definitely the vent system is working here, so don't be surprised with that. It doesn't really isolate just like the other usual IM. Now you do get 3 types of tuning, just like my graph here, that is shown that the transparency filter gives you the less bass and more upper mid-range to treble, while the reference is the most balanced one, while the atmospheric immersion is more on the bassy side. And honestly, I feel that the atmospheric immersion and also transparency is a little bit too niche compared to the reference. The reference is the most all-rounder one. The transparency one could be a little bit harsh and offensive, and also the atmospheric could be bloated. So mainly in this review, I will review them using the reference filter, which I consider to be the best. Now just giving some unique facts here. This Dunu Falcon Pro tuned the most different compared to the other Dunus, like the Dunu Titan S, Dunu Kima, Dunu Talos, and the Zen Pro. Well, the other Dunus has mainly more of a neutral-ish side of IM with just a little bit of bass boost. This Dunu Falcon Pro has, I think, the most mid-bassy kind of sound with less ear gain, around 3K. So yeah, it's a different beast entirely. I don't know, it just feels different both in sensation because of that openness from the vent hole. Also, the overall tuning is simply different from the other Dunus. Bass wise, personally, I'm not a really fan of this kind of tuning in the bass area, because it's mainly focused on the mid bass area and I hear less sub bass. So in some songs, in a lot of songs, I hear mainly the bass is more about the punch and volume, also thickness, but you don't really get a sub bass rumble. It's just my point of view, because daily I'm using IE600, which has excellent sub bass. Now, because of that, when I'm hearing orchestral music like Two Steps from Hell, Heart of Courage, I do feel that I'm lacking sub-bass rumble here that makes everything sounds more majestic. So it's just my point of view. I feel I need more sub bass in this IM, especially at $220 price point. But nevertheless, in terms of bass volume, bass quantity, I do feel that this IM could be considered to be a quiet all-rounder kind of bass, because it's quite tight and it's also fast and it's punchy enough, but just lacking in sub bass area to make things more rumbling and interesting. I do think that even though the mid-range could be shown a little bit lacking in upper mid-range around the ear gain area, but I personally feel that it doesn't bother me so much. Even if you compare them with the Zen Pro or the Dunu Kima, you might feel that it's lacking a little bit of mid-range forwardness, especially for female vocal. That could be a thing here. But personally, for a lot of genres, a lot of male and female vocals, I don't really mind with that. For example, I'm always using one song with a lot of female and male vocals, like We Don't Talk About Bruno from the Encanto soundtrack. Every person that sings there, I feel that it has proper thickness and proper timbre, proper clarity. It's just not forward enough compared to the Dunu Zen Pro, which has more forwardness in the vocal and more, I think, more better female vocal presentation. But nevertheless, I do feel that this IM still has a proper mid-range tuning. On high frequency, personally, I feel that this IM doesn't really do justice on the frequency response, because on the frequency response you could see that the extension is not really there. It doesn't really have a good extension, but in reality, because of their openness, I do believe that these fans definitely do something with the overall presentation of the treble, because when I'm hearing some violins and also percussion, it gives a sensation of open resonance. It doesn't sound close, and it's somehow a really good presentation of treble. When I'm hearing Vivaldi, Spring, the La Primavera, I feel there's no congestion in the violin's presentation, and when I hear some percussion again from the Encanto songs, there's a lot of percussion and some unique, I think, maracas there, I don't know, but I feel there's no congestion in the treble presence and treble airiness. The airiness is more like a physical sensation rather than actual treble extension. But I feel nothing wrong with that. In fact, I actually really enjoy it. Somehow it's giving an airy sensation, and I do feel that it also gives a quiet, strange, but good imaging. So when the vocal is here, I feel that the percussion and also some violins could be a little bit higher in presentation, the imaging. It gives like, it also seems like when the singer is singing and also there's a percussion and violin, it's like dancing around my head like this. So it's giving a unique imaging, and I personally really like. Now, technical part is where I'm really hooked at this IM. Actually, you don't really get a really high resolution, especially around $200 price point. Honestly, just buy some planers like the S12 Pro or the Timeless. It will give you better resolution and detail. And also the staging and imaging is something that I feel really unique with this IM, and I personally love it. And because of that, this is my second favorite Dunu. Personally, I'm still picking choice whether I like Dunu Zen Pro more or the Falcon Pro more, and that's impressive if you're saying about the price point. It doesn't have the detail level of some planar IMs, but the thing is, because of their openness in design, it gives you a sensation of openness, really a sense of open stage. It doesn't like have a wall that I even feel in the Dunu Zen Pro. The Dunu Zen Pro has a somewhat smaller soundstage sensation, and also I feel there's a wall somehow maintaining barricade for the sound, while the Falcon Pro somehow breaking the wall and gives a unique imaging about the treble. Like I said in my sample song, We Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto soundtrack, I feel that the imaging is just amazing. You feel that here's the main vocal, and there's another vocal from the left, another vocal from the right, and then you feel percussion from your upper head from left to right, you hear them all with some unique angles. Usually the usual IM, even though when I try the S12 Pro, I hear more details, better transients and impacts, but I don't really hear the angle. I don't really feel that there's an angle of percussion coming from straight my upper right or my upper left. That's giving strange sensation that I actually really like, because I happen to have a lot of Disney playlists and also orchestral playlists, and it definitely gives you a nice imaging. It just reminds me of one of my favorite IM of all time, the Sony IR-M9. I also really like the Sony IR-M9 because of their imaging capabilities, but that's $1,000 IM, while this only $220 IMs. But in terms of imaging alone, at least in my playlist, it doesn't really show in some songs that doesn't have a good recording or good imaging also. But in Encanto, my Encanto playlist, my Disney soundtracks, also my Two Steps from Hell soundtracks, I do feel that the imaging is just excellent and I really love it. So I know in terms of overall presentation of this IM, well, it's not for everyone, but for someone like me, I love it. It's just different. It doesn't have the Harmon-ish target that is really popular right now. It definitely strays from that. It doesn't have a neutral sound either. I would say that they are still balanced. But the imaging and openness from this IM is just something that is quite different. Even with the Fred Go Hook X with their open design, I do feel that I don't really get the same sensation when I'm hearing that Encanto playlist. But this Dunu Falcon Pro gives that unique sensation. So it definitely becomes instantly one of my favorite dynamic driver IM because of their uniqueness. That even I don't really get that sensation of imaging from the Dunu Zen Pro, even though Dunu Zen Pro has better layering and details overall. But that angle is just, I don't know how to say it. It just really reminds me of the IR-M9. Okay, how is it compared to some of the IMs around $200 that I really like the S12 Pro here? Well, the S12 Pro, I think it has more of a all-rounder kind of presentation. It has better sub-bass impact, it has better speed also, while the mid-range is more forward and treble is also more extended in frequency. I'm talking about the overall frequency. And the details is also better. So in terms of objective measurement and objective how all-rounder they are, I do think that the S12 Pro or the Timeless, I feel that they are both are more easily to recommend for anyone. Even the Timeless has also a different sensation. It has more mid-bassy presentation in the bass, and also more forward mid-range also with better treble air and clarity. But again, in terms of soundstage, I feel that the most three-dimensional, I feel there's like a ball. It has the best depth maybe is the S12 Pro, while the Timeless only have right and left dimension. But the Dunu Falcon Pro somehow giving you not like a ball presentation. It's more like oval-ish, but really large and open. It doesn't have like the wall from the S12 Pro or the Timeless. The wall is just broken, and then you hear air. You hear physical air, not air frequency. Your physical air when you hear violins, flutes, and some percussion. Yeah, so I definitely think that I really understand why they have cult following, and I personally became instantly one of that cult maybe. I love what they offer, but it's not for everyone. It could be a little bit niche market. But after all, I could give this IM a total rank this, and this is my rank for its technicality. Then this is my final rank. And just like usual, this rank could be changed with the advancement of technology or simply changed in my benchmark. But I have to say overall, I really like this IM, even though maybe the rank isn't really high. That's all I could say about this, Sam. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. See you next time. Bye bye.